Hey everybody, it's Crys'Dawna. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while. Right now I'm doing the holiday challenge with Debbie's Design Diary. She has 5 new colors that came out, and I was challenged along with some other people to do a YouTube video. What we did is we went thrifting and we had to use some of the new colors to see what we could do. So, I know it's not a piece of furniture. I did grab this from the thrift store, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do, so I think this will be the next video. But I got a lamp and I created this finish on it. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of like, I created this finish on it. It was white and I did this on it. So if you want to see that, stay tuned. All right, so I'm thinking, okay.
No, give it to Lynn. He needs it to fight the monsters that he thinks exist under his bed.
Okay, so we're gonna get this $3 lamp and it's a $1 shade. And we're gonna put this together and then we're gonna put it in my son's room, hopefully. And hopefully it's not too bright, I don't know. But it's gonna be so that he can fight the monsters, right? So he doesn't have monsters coming. Yeah. This is the lamp that I got for $3, and this is the lampshade. It was $1, so I got these two for $4 together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of the new colors from DIY. There are 5 of them. I am going to use Salvation Solution by DIY. This is a primer and it's a stain killer blocker. This is white. I really just need this as a primer because this is a glass ceramic piece. And so what I'm going to do is make sure that I mix it really well, and then I'm going to put 2 coats. So I'm going to do 1 coat, allow it to dry for a few hours, and then I'm going to put a 2nd coat, and I'm going to allow this to dry overnight so that way it's nice and adhered to the surface. So that way when we go in to paint it with the paint, then we don't have to worry about it pulling back and chipping. We are going to hop over to the lampshade. So I'm going to use an IOD paint inlay. This one has directions. Well, they all have directions on the back, very detailed. I am going to take my sheet and I am fitting this piece first before I do anything else. So that's what you want to do, is whether you're using it on furniture or anything else, you want to make sure you fit it to where you want it on the piece or the medium or whatever you're using before you do it, because this is actually paint. So this is a paint inlay. So that blue design that you see is paint on that piece of paper. So what you need to do is you need to fit it where you want it, which is what I'm doing right now. And then you're going to put a layer of paint down and you're going to push this inlay onto the layer of paint with the darker side face down, so that way the paint transfers over. It's not a transfer, it's an inlay. So it's going to soak into the paint, and then when it dries, you pull it off and you're going to see the design. So we have this fitted right here. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to paint with DIY's, it's one of their white paints. It's called White Swan. It's better to use a more porous paint, so a clay or chalk paint, and I'm going to paint it on here and just gradually put the inlay. So I'm going to stick the inlay on there. This does dry really fast, so we're going to stick the inlay on, and then I'm going to put paint. Put the inlay on, put paint. So you see here how I've put paint down and I'm pushing the inlay and rubbing it into the paint. Then I'm going to pull back that piece of paper, put some paint down, push it down into the paint. We're going to continue that until it is completely pushed all the way down over and it's painted and has the inlay stuck to it. Once you have the inlay on, you're going to take a mister bottle and you want to mist over top of it, and you want to just gently push it down with either a sponge or a paper towel. Don't work it too much because, again, I told you this is paint and you don't want to smear it. So you can see right here, once I mist it, I'm just gently rubbing it into the surface. I'm lightly touching it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow it to completely dry before we peel it back. You can see here the left side is lighter because it's completely dried, and the right side is still a little bit damp. So once it lightens up, that's when you know it's dry and you can carefully peel it off. Now, these inlays are reusable up to 3 times, and each time you're going to have a little less paint. So these inlays are not meant to be completely perfect, although it looks really good on this lampshade, but you want to carefully pull it back, and what's going to happen is the inlay is going to be on the other side where you painted that base coat of that white paint. I will end up doing a spray sealer on this only because I do not want it to smudge, so I will end up sealing this with a spray top coat. So we're going to go back to the bottom. Remember, we used the Salvation solution on there, so it's on there. You can see it's more matte. Now we are going to mix Blue Iris by DIY and Salt Wash so that we have a layer of texture. So when I mix this, I want it to be super thick. So first I'm going to put my paint, I'm going to mix my paint, put my paint in there, put the salt wash in there a little bit at a time. And then we want it to be thick enough that it does not easily fall off our mixing stick. Once I have the mixture where I like it, I am going to stipple it over the entire piece. And then you'll see in the later clip When clay paint is dry, it is significantly lighter than what it is when it's wet, and that's generally when you know that it's dry. And so what I have done is I've done one layer and then I go over it again and do a second layer doing the exact same process. I am going to mix two colors. So you can see on the left that is a brand new color. This one is Cherry Picked, which is a darker plum, and this is Blood Moon, which is a new purple color by DIY. I wanted something that was a little bit darker than Blood Moon, so I wanted to show how you can mix DIY colors and make your own colors. And so we're just doing just a tiny bit of Cherry Pick just to deepen it a little bit. And you're gonna see I compare the stick to Blood Moon. So it's just slightly darker than the Blood Moon. But then when you compare it to Cherry Picked, it's quite a bit lighter than Cherry Picked. So it is a nice custom color, and we're using the brand new Blood Moon by DIY Paint. I do want to thin this out a little bit, and so I'm going to pour a little bit of water in here, and then I'm going to mix it up because I want to be able to do almost kind of like a wash over top of the blue iris texture that we have going on. Once I've created my wash, I am going to lightly go over the top of all of the blue. And so I'm going to almost do a dry brush in some areas, and I'll do it thicker in other areas, because there's another technique that I'm going to show you that we are going to use to really make it seem like it's authentically worn. Okay, so this is a technique that I love using. What we're going to do after we have put the wash on is we're going to spray it with a mister bottle and take a paper towel and dab it. And what happens is it pulls up some of the paint, and it kind of creates more of a blotchy look that seems like it's more natural, and it's not, there's not so much paint concentrated in certain areas. So you're going to see right here, I'm going to show you where it pulls up some of the purple, and it just makes it look and flow a little bit more natural. The next step, while it is still damp, generally what you do with the decrepit dust is you put your wax down and then you put the dust over top of it. But I am going to take the white and I'm going to just dab it all around on the paint that is still a little bit damp, and we're going to create kind of like a weathered, colorful stone look. Once I was done putting the white decrepit all over, I took my brush to the side and just gently went over everything to embed it a little bit more into the damp paint. And then I took the dark decrepit dust and I went over the piece with that too, just to give it an even more aged look. Allowed this to sit for a few hours to fully dry, and then I went outside and I used a polyurethane and I sprayed over everything so that way I could do a final seal on this piece. These are some videos of the lamp so that you can see up close what it looks like. You could do this technique on a piece of furniture. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, the 5 new colors for DIY are out. Go and check them out. This is also part of a challenge, so it was a thrift challenge. So check out the playlist in my description below so that you can see everyone that was part of that.